Hey everyone, so check this out. The XRP army is going absolutely wild right now, speculating about billions sitting in Ripple's escrow after this crazy move by the US government. I mean, the government's literally taking ownership stakes in more and more companies these days, right? And Zach Rector drops this bombshell question. He's like, I wonder if they'd want some of that XRP from Ripple's escrow too. And honestly, I'm seeing this sentiment everywhere. People are genuinely wondering if the government might actually acquire a stake in Ripple itself. But here's where it gets interesting, guys. I genuinely believe the US government already has their master plan mapped out. Like, they know exactly where this is all heading. I'm convinced RLUSD is going to become the US digital dollar. Think about it. Ripple was literally meeting with the president way back in summer 2024 before he even got elected. My theory? The president wanted something different, not your typical central bank digital currency. So Ripple swoops in and says, hey, we're launching this stable coin. You could totally use this as your digital dollar. Look, once you really understand what XRP can do, there's absolutely no way President Trump doesn't get it too. He sees exactly how this could supercharge the US dollar. Remember, they were already buzzing about XRP during his first presidency back in 2017, 2018, and 2019. They were even throwing around ideas about a central bank digital currency, basically a digital dollar. I honestly think everything they were brainstorming back then is finally about to happen in 2025. Here's what's fascinating. Analysts are saying that if you're still thinking of XRP as just a payments thing, you're way behind the curve. Want to know the real story? This is why some people think XRP could actually hit $10,000 as it branches out way beyond payments. What's happening is Ripple has completely transformed itself from just being a payments company into this powerhouse involved in tokenization, custody, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some folks genuinely believe XRP could rocket to that $10,000 mark, while others think that's completely unrealistic. But here's my take. Why couldn't it hit $10,000? Seriously, what's actually stopping it? You can't point to market cap as the roadblock because XRP has this crazy market cap multiplier, usually around 400 to 500x. That means whenever money flows in, the price moves like wildfire. Then people jump in with, well, what about previous cycles? Like, listen, this whole 4-year cycle thing, that's about to become ancient history once real utility kicks in. That's going to completely shake up the 4-year cycle forever. Everyone keeps talking about how Bitcoin's 4-year cycle is coming to an end. Yeah, exactly. Because utility is what's going to kill it off. But here's what really gets me. When Arthur Brito, the actual creator of XRP, said it was built to be a $10,000 asset, I seriously don't think he was messing around. I think what he was really telling us back then was that somewhere down the road, when all these pieces finally click together, XRP is going to be sitting pretty in 5-digit territory. Of course, everyone immediately hits me with, okay, so when's this supposed to happen? I'm thinking it goes down before 2030. My gut says we're looking at somewhere around 2027 to 2028. By that time, CBDCs are going to be everywhere. I'm talking almost every single country will have them up and running. And the countries that don't jump on the CBDC train, they'll have stablecoins instead. The digital dollar will already be picking up serious steam by then, and here's the kicker. I think most of the world's unbanked population will finally have access to actual bank accounts. Then you throw tokenization into the mix, and man, by that point, tokenization is going to be absolutely massive. We're talking well into the trillions of dollars in real-world assets getting tokenized. So when people say XRP will never hit $10,000, I'm like, are you kidding me? It's way more probable that it actually gets there than tanks to nothing. Seriously, the odds are better for hitting 10K than going bust. Johnny Deaton pointed this out, and man, I totally saw this coming. Same way I knew Gemini's XRP card was going to blow up and become their hottest credit card. I'm betting XRP folks are the reason Gemini's app downloads just crushed Coinbase's numbers. Here's something wild. Remember when 75,000 XRP holders from 143 different countries came together for that SEC versus Ripple thing? That was absolutely unprecedented, and Johnny Deaton was spot on about it. Check this out. Gemini literally overtook Coinbase on the US iOS App Store the moment they dropped that XRP MasterCard. Gemini jumped to 16th, while Coinbase slipped to 20th place. Now that's what I call XRP army power. I totally saw the demand for that card coming from a mile away. But hold up, I think folks are going a bit overboard with the excitement. Everyone's acting like this card is going to rocket XRP's price into orbit within days. Listen, if this thing is going to pump real value into XRP, we're looking at the long game here, not some quick overnight miracle. There's this guy with the messy hair who's been talking about XRP and Bitcoin being like the go-to defensive plays for the future. You need to check out what he's saying.
Are you saying that a lot of that Nostro money one day is going to be in XRP? Is that the ultimate goal?
Oh, it's going to be replaced. It's going to be replaced by XRP. And so that just that demand for the thimble of oil, like that thimble is pretty big. And so if all the banks need just enough XRP to handle their liquidity requirements, and you also have money transmitters doing it, and maybe even just major corporations are doing it as well. They're just posting their own liquidity around. Everybody needs less liquidity than they needed Nostro and Vostro fiat currency, but that's still a lot of practical need for XRP. And so I think Ripple's done some of those calculations. If each bank around the world and each other regulated financial institution had just enough XRP for their liquidity needs, that would create amazing practical demand for XRP all around the world. Just like there's only 21 million Bitcoins, if people want to have that in their portfolio as like a defensive asset, by the time all the different retirement funds, hedge funds, individuals buy just to have a little bit of extra of Bitcoin tucked away, that creates an overall aggregate demand for Bitcoin. Same is true for Ripple, although its purpose is not just like as a panic currency, it's for a very specific task, creating an alternative to the heavy liquidity needs for the current Nostro Vostro system of correspondent banking.
And we're just not quite at that point yet, but man, we are so close to this thing exploding. Here's why. The banks are going to be all over unlocking those Nostro Vostro accounts. Think about what that means for them. These banks could get all that tied up liquidity flowing back into their system. They could actually use that money for new loans, fund all sorts of projects they can't touch right now because the cash is just sitting there doing nothing. This literally solves every major liquidity headache banks are dealing with. And when he brought up scarcity and Bitcoin's 21 million coin limit, just wait until everyone discovers QNT with only a little over 14 million coins in existence. When that price starts going ballistic, it's going to be the people hodling Bitcoin who really get it. Mark my words, everyone's going to be buzzing about QNT next because QNT is basically Bitcoin, but on absolute steroids. There's actually less QNT floating around than Bitcoin, but here's the kicker. It's got real utility and actual use cases. This thing is going to be the backbone holding our entire financial system together. And now they're literally writing articles telling people, don't save your money in a bank. But you know what? Most of us crypto folks weren't keeping our cash in banks anyway. Any extra money we've got after covering bills goes straight into crypto, into XRP, and if you're smart about diversifying, you're spreading it across XLM, XDC, HBAR, and the whole crew. Banks will never make you wealthy, but crypto? That's your ticket to financial freedom right there. Seriously, who wants their money rotting in a checking account earning less than 1% interest? That's just painful to watch. Bill Morgan made a great point. It's pretty sneaky how some people conveniently forget to mention that SBI is a huge Ripple shareholder, and basically all their partnerships and projects are built around XRP. Plus, early next year, we've got RLUSD coming. Talk about being selective with the facts. Look at what's already happening. Ripple payments in the XRP ledger are powering MoneyTap, that slick payment app for instant domestic transfers in Japan that's revolutionizing their ATM network. Then there's SBI Remit using XRP for lightning-fast, dirt-cheap remittances. And don't even get me started on their project pushing NFTs on the XRP ledger through SBI Digital Communities and the BTO3 initiative. Now, on the flip side, SBI's partnership with Chainlink is tackling completely different territory. They're laser-focused on tokenized real-world assets, tokenized funds, and regulated stablecoins in Japan, with plans to expand across Asia-Pacific later on. SBI wants to tap into Chainlink's cross-chain magic for bulletproof transactions involving serious assets like real estate and bonds. They're using Chainlink's smart data to get real-time net asset value info for tokenized funds, plus Chainlink's proof of reserve to keep stablecoin reserves totally transparent. This whole thing is about laying down the groundwork for institutional crypto adoption. It's not stepping on Ripple's payment-focused turf at all. Here's the thing. Ripple's relationship with SBI is all about payments and liquidity, stuff like remittances and getting stablecoins where they need to go. Meanwhile, Chainlink's partnership is diving deep into tokenization and data connectivity for big institutional finance players. These relationships actually work together beautifully. They're not fighting each other for the same space. Enough already with this anti-XRP maximalist garbage. Look, Chainlink will never be the one coin to rule them all. That's just fantasy talk. It's a really solid project, sure. But let's keep it real here. Different coins, different purposes, different strengths. That's how this whole ecosystem actually works. That was such a spot-on post because right now everyone's freaking out thinking SBI is dumping XRP for Chainlink. And that's totally missing the point. SBI is also bringing XDC into the mix for digital trade. This whole crypto space is heading toward massive collaboration in the future. As this new financial system starts piecing itself together, we're going to see tons of different players. But here's what people don't get. They're not at war with each other. They're actually working together perfectly. It's just us retail investors getting all worked up, throwing tantrums like my coin's better than yours and my crypto's going to the moon higher than your crypto, blah, blah, blah. Listen up. We are literally watching a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity unfold right in front of us. There's absolutely zero reason to be arguing about this stuff. Just invest in whatever speaks to you, spread your money around, make some serious cash in this space, and get yourself financially free. That's what matters. And get this, institutions aren't just playing around with tokenization anymore. They're done testing. They're actually throwing real capital at this stuff now. Check out what Ondo has to say about this.
I do think increasingly within TradFi, you have very smart people who understand exactly where the puck is headed. They have been waiting, but quietly developing their capabilities to move at an accelerated pace the moment regulation would allow. Regulation now allows them to move onto public blockchains in a much bigger way. So the amount of movement that I'm seeing right now within TradFi is unlike anything I have seen in the almost 10 years that I have looked at it, and it's not even close.
So right now, what this guy is seeing happen inside traditional finance is something he hasn't witnessed in nearly a decade. This is absolutely huge. What's going down right now is way bigger than most people realize. We're literally watching the entire financial system transform and go digital, and here we are, already positioned right in the middle of it. This is seriously a once-in-a-lifetime shot. Most people still don't get how massive this is. You know what kills me? Every single time XRP has a rough day, people immediately panic and want to bail on crypto completely. Listen, you will never, ever get another chance like this. Not in your entire lifetime. This opportunity isn't coming back around. You've got to tune out all the FUD and ignore all this ridiculous drama happening inside these communities. It's gotten so crazy that you've got people in the XRP community literally fighting about XRP itself. How insane is that? Here's your game plan. Stay invested and get yourself financially free. That's literally all you need to focus on right now. Until this thing takes off, just stay patient, keep that positive energy flowing, and let's all get rich together. All right, that's a wrap on this video. I want to give a huge thanks to everyone who watched. I seriously appreciate each and every one of you. Catch you in the next one and have an awesome night.